So if you just recently bought your first home or your first investment property and want to know how to protect it, then this episode is for you. All right guys, so today I'm joined by Ronald. Ronald, welcome, thanks for coming.
Thanks a lot.
I'll let you introduce yourself to the guys and tell them a little bit about what you do.
Perfect, thanks for having me here, Daniel. So my name's Ron Pratap from RP Wealth Management. So I'm a financial planner that's situated at Oran Park, level 2 of the Oran Park podium. So I provide advice in regards to personal insurances, superannuation, investments, first home buyers, and also those looking to invest further with their property or other strategies.
Awesome. So I think what people are going to be really interested about is if they have bought their first home or their first investment, how do they protect their assets? So what are some steps and precautions they can take to protect their assets?
Yeah. So I guess, there's always a lot of insurances and it's the last thing that we want to talk about. But at the end of the day, protecting your assets is very important if you want to leave a legacy or leave something for your children and your family. So we protect our car, we protect our contents, we protect our house. What we need to look at protecting is ourselves. At the end of the day, we are our biggest asset. Mm-hmm. So your income and your ability to earn an income is a pretty big part of everything that flows from there. So income protection, life insurance, trauma insurance, total and permanent disability, those are the type of insurances that I deal with. So for example, income protection is protecting 75% of your gross income. A way that I put it is if you have a machine that's in your garage generating the same level of income as yourself, would you insure that, or would you let it just continue to earn that income and risk it breaking down? At the end of the day, you're exposing yourself to risks every time you step out the door, when you go on holiday, when you're at work. It's about protecting that ability to earn an income. And also, if something does happen to you, you've got that life insurance in place, which can be funded from either your superannuation, outside of super. There's different structures that you can use to pay for your premiums.
So pretty much what you're saying is, you've got your loan that services your investments and it services your first home. And if something was to happen to you and you were unable to work, then you wouldn't be able to service the loan, which could potentially put you in harm's way of losing those assets. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely.
And then you need to protect your income. So if you can't work, that's the insurance, what you're talking about.
That's right. I guess, as I mentioned, car insurance, if something happens to your car, it's protecting that physical asset.
Yep.
With the house, you have a house fire that protects the asset. But if something happens to you and you don't have any insurance in place, you're not going to be covered for that. So
cool.
That's where the bank can foreclose on the house. You can get your assets taken away. You have to sell down assets. So you have to sell down investments. You have to sell down your personal assets in order to fund those repayments.
Yep, awesome. Understand. And you did mention about super. So obviously super is one of your assets, and I do believe some of this stuff can be done through super. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So at the end of the day, superannuation is a long-term investment, and a lot of people don't want to look at it. We've got several superannuation accounts everywhere. I know when I first started a few retail jobs, I had a few superannuation accounts lying around. But what you want to do and understand is that you're paying fees and there's insurances coming out of your superannuation. But at the end of the day, you can also use this superannuation to fund your appropriate level of insurance. So once you consolidate it, understand what fees you're paying, understand what insurances are inside, you can match that to make it appropriate for you.
So what you're saying, people could actually have more than one super that they may not even know about if they went from a few different jobs.
That's exactly right. And then you've got multiple sets of insurances, multiple sets of fees. So you're doubling up on everything that you're paying.
Okay.
Whereas if you speak to someone like myself, or even review it yourself, it doesn't need a financial advisor, but just review it, review the fees, understand what insurances you're paying, and set the right foundation and set up the right structure now, because in the long term, that's going to make a significant difference. And that $100,000 that you may have in super might be a few $100,000 more on top of that, just by setting the foundation right now.
So I know a lot of younger people may not really understand a lot about super, but it can be very beneficial for them later on in life in regards to investments. So do you want to just touch on that for a sec?
No, definitely. So with the superannuation, as you mentioned, it is an investment and it is your money. your employer or yourself as a business owner, you're contributing to your superannuation, so there's an obligation there. So you are not going to be able to access the money, but it is invested into the market. So the underlying assets are these big companies like Commonwealth Bank, BHP, Rio. So you have the ability to choose your investment strategy. Now, if you're not too sure about how to do that, that's where someone like myself comes into play, where I can sit down with you, go through your investment options, understand what insurances you have in there, and then review your full portfolio.
Awesome.
Now, the way that I work is I don't charge for my initial meeting, so I absorb the cost of that initial consultation, but it's just a chance to sit down with someone, go through their situation and see where I can add value.
So then that leads me into my last sort of question is who or why would people come to see you, and who is the ideal sort of people to come see you? Because a lot of people would probably believe when you're talking about super and you're talking about all this sort of stuff, they think you have to be kind of older to worry about it, but it's probably not really the case, is it?
Definitely. I've got clients that are retired, they're close to retirement, they're 40 years old. Then I've got the first home buyer, so they're looking to purchase their first home or have already purchased their first home and wanting to ensure that it's protected and they can move on to their second property. But at the same time, a lot of what I do is about cash flow management. Yep. So you're not quite there to get your first home, but you want to work towards saving for that first home. So I work with my clients to ensure that they've got enough money to purchase their first home, select the right type of structure with the help of a mortgage broker, selecting the right type of structure for the debt, and at the same time ensuring that they're ticking off their goals and objectives along the way.
That's right.
Advice is not transactional. Advice is more of an ongoing process. So we regularly check in with their goals and objectives and ensure that they're hitting it. And if we need to change anything over time, that's where we review it every year and make sure that they're on track.
So pretty much, the younger the better, really. I mean, it sounds to me like the quicker you guys come to see someone like Ronald and talk about your super and your protection, probably the better. So it sounds to me like you're not too young. So if you feel like you are too young, then definitely, you're not. So, all right, Ron. Well, thank you very much for coming here today. I do appreciate it. So guys, if you want to get in contact with Ron to chat about anything that we talked about here today, I will be putting some links either up above or down below with how you can contact Ron. And if you know anyone who's in the process of buying their first home, or if you have young children yourself who feel like this would be beneficial, then definitely tag them in the comments below so they get to watch this video as well too. All right, Ron, once again, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
It was great to be here, and I know you're doing great work with Simone Homes and doing great work with the family, so
awesome.
It's good to be a part of the process, mate.
Thank you very much. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Bye for now. Done.
Perfect.
That was good.